Welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. It's time to give your business wings and take flight to achieve more impact, influence, and income with unique perspectives, tools, and tips from successful entrepreneurs and business professionals to help your business fly. Here to educate, encourage, and entertain you with their own unique perspectives and experience, plus sharing anecdotes of growing up as cowgirls. Here's your host, Jill Fleming.
Hello, and welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. I'm your host today, Jill Fleming, and today I'm going to be interviewing Nikole Haumont, our co-host, around her expertise, and her topic today is networking in real life as well as online. Nikole, welcome.
Well, thank you. I am excited about networking. I have an entire company built around it called Standout Pro. And it is important to me to meet people in real life, but also meet people online. And I've developed several systems that I use on how to connect those two worlds, the virtual world and the real life world.
So Nikole, why do we need to network?
Well, if you're in business, so whether you're a business owner or a business professional, and you're wanting to develop your career more or take your business to the next level, you need to have connections out there. I know there's an old saying of it's not who you know, but who knows you. And that is partly correct. But you need to make those connections to know what type of person that you're wanting to do business with, and also what type of person you can help out there. I'm a firm believer in the more people that you help, the more help you're going to get back in some form.
We've talked about introverts, ambiverts, extroverts. What are the different ways that people who are more introverted, who are more shy, that can put themselves out there and still network in a way that works for them?
You know, for the introverted person, one of the biggest things is probably going to be networking online first and getting to know that person a little bit before they actually suggest meeting them in real life. Now, sometimes in real life, you can still have a phone conversation because we don't live next to everybody. And so it's not necessarily easy to go have that cup of coffee or have breakfast or go for a walk and get to know a person. So sometimes even jumping on the phone where they're not necessarily seeing you, but you can hear each other, or jumping online, like through a Zoom meeting where you can see each other's facial expressions, helps to build that relationship without having to put a lot of energy out there quite yet. Because I know some days I am completely fine staying at home and not seeing people, but other days I do want to go out there and actually mix and mingle person to person with people. And so for the introvert, to start with, maybe you need to concentrate on your online networking and then work your way into doing it in person once you've gotten to know that person a little bit better.
And I know that with social media this day and age, there's so many different platforms. What platforms do you recommend for business or career networking versus Facebook is more networking personally? What platforms do you recommend for building your online network?
Well, what I personally use is LinkedIn when it comes to building professional network. And I also use a new app called Shaper that is out. I actually have workshops developed around both of those, teaching people how to use them and have scripts available so people aren't at loss of how to start the conversation. And with LinkedIn versus Facebook, I love Facebook for keeping in contact with my people I know in real life, my family and my friends, and sharing photos there. But I'm hesitant about connecting with business professionals on there from the get-go until I've learned more about them and make sure that I want to let them into that area of my life. On LinkedIn, it's about business and you want to be professional on there. You can show your personality, but you're not going to be sharing the funny cat videos, at least not on your profile page. Maybe once you get to know that person more, you share it in the Messenger app that LinkedIn has, or you do it on Facebook because you've added them there. But to me, LinkedIn is the business platform you need to be on once you've connected with them, whether it is via the Shaper app where you've connected because of similar interests in business, or whether you've met them in real life at a networking event, whether it's a chamber event or it's a mixer or even the soccer field. Sometimes being the mom on the sideline, I run into other business owners, business professionals, and entrepreneurs And yes, Facebook would probably be a natural fit there, but if I know that they're business oriented like I am, LinkedIn is definitely where I'm going to connect with them. And then I get to see who their connections are and develop potential relationships from there too.
Are there any other platforms you recommend? Any other social media technologies to use?
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to networking, when it's business related, LinkedIn and Shaper are the two ways to go. I do use Uber Conference for some phone calls. And in order for people to schedule those phone calls with me, I use Calendly. And so I have specific links where they can access specific days on my time because I'm setting boundaries for myself of when I will talk with people, because especially as one of those people who can be introverted or extroverted, depending on the situation, technically I guess is classified an ambivert, I like to know when I'm going to have a phone call. So I use the calendar function so I can prepare myself for that day that I'm going to be on the phone, that I'm going to be talking with people, that I'm going to go to coffee with them. And with Calendly, you can set boundaries of when you're available. And to me, my number one priority is my family. And so I work around their schedule and I just make sure that I keep my calendar updated with the important stuff that I want to do. And then Calendly syncs with that and gives me the opportunity to share that information with other people. And then I use Uber Conference because I don't necessarily want people to have my direct cell phone number, and they don't necessarily need to call the business number either. So by using Uber, I have a direct number and it records our conversation, and I get an email with the recording of that conversation after the fact. So I can go back and listen to it if there's something that I for sure want to get back to them on. I have that recording there. So between meeting people on Shaper, meeting people on LinkedIn, meeting them in real life, to connect those all together, I do use Calendly and Uber Conference on there, or Zoom sometimes too.
That sounds like a great way to do it. I know I use Calendly as well, and I've created a link. It's called schedulejill.com that I send people to of like, hey, if you want to schedule a meeting with me, go to schedulejill.com and my Calendly pops up, and then they can schedule when I've put in there that I have availability to have a meeting with me. Then it pops up on my calendar, and then you can kind of go from there. So I know that that really makes it an easy way to have access to your calendar and not have to go the back and forth. So they know what works for you, and then they can figure out what works for them to be able to make those connections.
Yes, and I like the feature within Calendly that if they need to cancel or reschedule, they can do it easily without 20 emails or messages back and forth saying, oh, are you going to be available here? Are you going to be available there? Oh my goodness. And I have it set up that they have to book. Calendly doesn't let them book the same day. It's 24 hours out. So that way, instead of all of a sudden I'm at Taekwondo with Lincoln and I'm like, oh, I have a phone call in 15 minutes. I get the 24-hour notification. And I even have it set up where I ask a few questions. So I know what we're going to be talking about. I know what industry they're in. So we're not wasting each other's time that way. And that's the big thing. When you are an entrepreneur, whether you're a parent or not, time is the only thing you can't make more of. You need to set those boundaries, and you need to make sure that you respect other people's time too, and have meaningful conversations. And by connecting online and having a few messages back and forth first, that kind of gets the chit chat out of the way in a way. And then you can get to business on the phone, and you get to find out their personality, you listen to their tone, and you decide if this is a person you do want to meet in real life, or if you want to have further conversations with. Having a little quick 20-minute get to know each other call. Yes, it takes time, but it gives you a much faster picture of whether that person is somebody you do want to work with and keep included in your network. And I did totally steal the schedulenicole.com from Jill's calendar idea. She had the schedulejill.com before I set up my Calendly. I'm like, you know what? That makes it so simple to have that domain and just say schedulenicole.com. If they don't know how to spell my first name, they're not going to find me, which is okay. But yeah, it's one of those things that there's a lot of things you can do right, but there's also a lot of things you shouldn't do when it comes to networking, especially when it's in real life.
Well, with that, I think that's a great time to take a quick break and hear from our sponsor. When we come back, we'll start delving into networking in real life. We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Standout Pro. teaching you how to stand out and get more clients using LinkedIn. Get your free gift at standoutpro.com. Welcome back. I am here with Nikole Haumont with Standout Pro, and she is speaking today about networking. And we just heard about networking online. And now, Nikole, tell us more tips, tricks, techniques that you recommend. Once you've made a connection online, you've had a phone call with them, and now you've vetted them to know that you do want to meet them in real life. Let's talk about meeting those people in real life that you've vetted from online. And then I would love to hear more about how you meet people for like in-person networking as well.
It's kind of like dating. You want to make sure you're in a public spot, that these people are who they truly say they are. Now, once you've gotten to know them on LinkedIn, I mean, you can actually go through their profile, see their work history. People, if they're on LinkedIn, for the 99% of the time, they're not going to be like con artists or scammers or things like that. LinkedIn is definitely more of a prestigious networking builder. But yeah, I mean, when you meet people in real life, still keep it brief. Still set your parameters ahead of time, saying, okay, well, I will meet you from this time to this time. I only have 30 minutes. I only have 45 minutes. Tell them that so you both have the same expectations up front, that it's going to be either a quick lunch, a quick coffee, maybe you're going to go for a quick walk around the block, but that way you both know it's a set time. Now, it's totally okay if you are enjoying the conversation and you're both getting a lot of value, that you go over that time if it is in both of your calendars, that you have that flexibility to do that. Honestly, when you're in business, you should probably have a name tag, especially when you're meeting people. That way you don't have to be like, oh, I'll be the woman in the red coat standing in the corner waiting for you to meet me. You know, we're not talking about having a rose, because that's not the type of relationship we're developing here. But have your name tag on, you know, and I do let people know, hey, I'll have my name tag on, but today I'm wearing a blue jacket, just so they kind of are like not looking at everybody's right shoulder saying, oh, what's your name tag say? Or do you have a name tag on? And having a name tag is important. You do want it on your right-hand side. So when you shake hands, your name tag goes towards them. They can see it. If you put it on your left shoulder, when you're automatically shaking hands, you turn your body away. So it's harder for them to actually see what's on the name tag. And then it's just having a conversation. One of the things when I meet people that I've been conversing with online, I like to ask them the general chit chat the first couple of minutes. How's your day going? What do you think of this weather? If you're into sports, you could totally ask them what their favorite team is. That's not me, so I don't do sports talk. Pretend that they're your good friend already, because that's going to bring a genuine smile to you. That's going to bring a genuine warmth to your relationship, even though you're just getting to know them more in depth now.
That's great advice. And now, so that's meeting people that you've fostered a relationship online with. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend? I know I was there visiting recently, and I walked into a room with 200 people that I had no idea who they were. What do you tell a person that when they're going to a large networking event, what are some tips that you recommend in that type of environment?
There's several things that you can do. I'll go over a few briefly. I am going to have a video series coming out more of what not to do when meeting in real life, but these are a few things to do. Of course, keep your name tag on your right-hand side. Business casual, unless dress code says otherwise. Here in Arizona, it's a lot more relaxed than when I was in Iowa. Like, business casual means business casual. It might even mean golf clothes, because chances are some of the people were golfing earlier in the day. But for the most part, you know, a pair of dress capris for women with a nice blouse or top is perfectly fine. For men, a lot of times just slacks and loafers and a polo is perfectly acceptable here in Arizona. Depending on where you live, it might be a little bit different dress code. So maybe ask a few questions, especially if you're going with somebody. What should I wear here? I mean, you don't want to go in a full-on business suit if that's completely not the vibe. You know, keep that name tag on the right-hand side. Make sure you brush your teeth and have breath mints. I mean, common courtesy. Yes, you're not going on a date, but you are meeting people and are going to be in close proximity.
It comes back to, too, it's like you only have one chance to make a good first impression, whether it's in dating, whether it's in networking. You want to make a good first impression. And I would say, too, it depends on what profession they're in.
I would agree with you on that. You know, I do website design and graphic design. And so to me, I could get away with some of the louder prints. Like I kind of have two wardrobes.
Okay.
I have my mom wardrobe where I'm always wearing prints because I'm one of those messy people that invariably I spill something on me. Thankfully, I drink mostly water, so I'm not staining my clothes with colored drinks. But when I go out, my logo colors are blue, whether it's Shield Bar Marketing or whether it's Stand Up Pro. I actually have my superhero costume that I put on, which to me is either blue or blue and white or blue, white, and red. As my son says, the American colors. I do like to wear those colors, but I wear blue for the most part as my main color pattern, because then when people go and see me online in my LinkedIn profile, I'm wearing blue and white. And so it's one of those things that it's kind of an association then, because they're like, oh yeah, she was the one in the blue dress, or she had the blue pants on, or something like that, that gives them a reason to associate that color with you. Going into color theory, blue evokes trust. And in the online world, that can be something that's hard to have, is the trust in somebody else. But by choosing your colors wisely, whether it's your logo or what you wear, that can help you get your message across subtly without people actually like telling them, oh, you can trust me. It gives that message in the background.
So you walk into the room, you're dressed appropriately, and now what?
Well, one of the first things I do is I actually do go to the cash bar and get a glass of wine, because one, you're probably going to bump into other people up there that you can start a conversation with right away. Two, especially, I rarely drink, but it's nice to have one drink while I'm out and about because it relaxes me just a little bit. And the thing of it is, though, hold that drink in your left hand. You need to leave your right hand open so you can have a nice firm handshake when you are meeting somebody. So I also have a little tiny business card carrier that I have that I can hold. If I hold the bottom of my glass, I can put my business card holder in there, so it's easy access to get my business card in case I want to give it to somebody. Now with business cards though, I honestly don't give that many out. If there's somebody that I want to follow up with and want to connect with online, I get their business card. Because how many times have you gotten business cards from everybody and you go home and you're looking at them and you're like, who was this person? Why do I have it? What did we talk about? I try to make sure I find 3 people at every event that I go to that I want to follow up with and that I want to connect. If their business card has a mailing address on it, I actually send them a handwritten note afterwards saying, it was great to meet you. I'm glad we talked about XYZ. I look forward to meeting you. And then I'll send them a connection request on LinkedIn also. And here in the Green Valley, Sahuarita area, I've been here not quite a year now, and I have met people and I've sent some of those cards out, and it's amazing how those people remember you so much more the next time you run into them. I send a note in an envelope. So the return address says my company name and my name, but the actual note, it just says hello in big white and blue, going with my theme. And then on the inside, it's blank, and I just write a note and just sign my name, Nikole Haumont. On the very back, it does say shieldbar.com, Shield Bar Marketing, or standuppro.com, depending on where I'm sending the card from. But that cements in their mind, oh, that was the person I talked to, because you're referencing what you talked about. They get this handwritten card, which is pretty much unheard of today. And then you're also connecting with them on LinkedIn. And when I send a connection request on LinkedIn, I do include, hey, it was great meeting you at XYZ. And maybe if I can't send them a handwritten card, then in there I'll also put, I enjoyed our conversation about ABC. So that's how you connect online and offline.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to stand out, obviously. The sending the note and referencing where you spoke with someone, because when you are at a networking group, you do speak with so many different people. And when someone reaches out to you, especially like on LinkedIn, one of the things for me is like, I have a background in photography. I always say you should have a great photo as well. With a photography background too, is like, if you have a photo on your business card, make sure that's the same photo that you have on your, say, LinkedIn. So they're like, oh yeah, that they can associate better.
Well, and with that, have a current photo. Business cards are not that expensive. Hiring a fabulous photographer is worth it. It can be looked as an expense, but you know what? I look at it as a tax write-off. It's a tax deduction.
Absolutely. And having a professional and not just doing a selfie or something like that, it really does make a big difference. And I think it elevates your status of your professionalism as well.
I would agree with that. And, having the professional photo, having it updated at least every 2 years. Now, I know there are people who don't want to throw those business cards away because, oh my gosh, I spent money on them. Well, they're pennies, less than pennies a piece. It is okay to update your photo every 2 years. Or let's say for women, especially if you do a drastic change in your hairstyle, you need to have new photos taken. Just this last week, I was at an awards banquet for people in the AZ19 area who are most influential. And we had 24 honorees on there. And if you looked at the person in real life receiving that award, and then you looked at the photo that they provided as part of the ceremony and the print publication that went out with it, I would honestly say only about 50% of those people would I have put together with their photo, because looking at their photos and meeting them in real life was a complete disconnect. And now, granted, these people weren't necessarily all business professionals. Some of them were, but not all of them. And so it's just one of those things. When you're a business person, you are marketing, yes, your company, but you're the face of your company. So you need people to know who you are and put in real life together with the online presence, with your business card, etc.
Of all the things that we talked about today, what is the one thing, if they don't do anything else, that you recommend people do?
Honestly, the biggest thing you need to do is have a consistent branded look across all media, whether it's your color palette and your photo and your logo. Keep it consistent across all platforms. So whether you're on Shaper, whether you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, any of those, especially if you're using them for networking and building your brand and your business, be consistent and have a branded look across all platforms.
Thank you so much, Nikole. It was awesome talking with you today, hearing all your expertise. Please tune into our next episode as we share more wisdom to help give your business wings. A big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Standout Pro. Be sure to get your free gift at standoutpro.com.
Join our flock. Stay informed of all things Time to Fly by subscribing to our newsletter at timetoflypodcast.com. And be sure to tune in to our next show.